Good day, friends. It's Michelle with Rising Sun Oracle. I am here with another edition of Tea and Tarot with Rising Sun Oracle. I am pleased to introduce my next guest to you. This is Jade of Bicentennial Phoenix. She can be found on Instagram. Jade, welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hi, how
Michelle.
you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. So just welcome to the show. We are pre-recording this message. We've got a little bit of funny weather happening here with storms passing through. We're working on energy of a full moon coming up on September 2nd. So we're going to do our best to tap into these energies today and make them our friend. But Jade, please introduce yourself to the audience. Tell them what you do, what services you offer. Take the floor.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Jade of Bicentennial Phoenix. I do readings. I focus mainly on soul journeys and careers. I am working on a website. Unfortunately, my day-to-day job doesn't allow me to really work on it the way I want to. So I do take readings. You can message me. I am slowly putting them on my Instagram page as a link. I used to do candle work when I worked in a actual shop about 5 years ago. So I did candle work. I did a lot of different types of work. I learned to do a lot of different things. I don't offer that as a service now, unless it's like an absolute emergency. So sometimes if you reach out to me and you tell me what's going on, that might be something that I can channel and ask if that's needed at the time.
Awesome. So tell us about your reading style. What do you incorporate with your reading? Do you use tarot? Do you use oracle? What's your preference?
I use tarot. I like tarot, but I do like clarifiers with oracle decks. I tend to get very blunt messages with tarot, and I love it. And then with oracle, with clarifiers from the oracle decks, I can it helps me understand what direction that person needs to take depending on what they're looking to do. So for a lot of soul journey, people get, everyone gets that lost moment. They're like, oh my God, where do I go from here? What am I supposed to be doing? Maybe I'm not, you get that moment. It happens, especially when you're ascending. You're like, oh man, maybe I'm completely wrong about everything. So I like using oracle decks to definitely clarify and say, okay, maybe you need to work on this chakra. Hey, maybe you need to do this. Maybe it's a career change. Maybe it's keep doing what you're doing, just confirming. So I like to really use oracle decks as clarifiers and confirming or, negating what's going on.
Do you have a go-to deck that you use, or are you?
Yes, my go-to deck is for tarot is one of my oldest decks. Let me see if I have it here. It's the Hanson deck. They don't even make it anymore. It's this really, really old deck. It's about 20 years old. It was given to me by somebody else. Mm-hmm. And then my oracle deck that's my go-to is yours.
That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
That's my go-to oracle deck at the moment, but I should have taken it out. Silly me.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
That's my favorite.
In what you're doing, soul work is so important for us. It is the backbone of learning lessons, adapting to change, etc. Can you maybe share with us a memorable experience with a client that you've had, a memorable reading that you've had with a client?
Okay. The most memorable thing I don't think I'll ever forget was about 12 years ago when I was 18. I went to go work in my uncle's shop, and they do a lot of services like readings, candle work, other work, and I actually didn't know how to. I used tarot, but I wasn't really comfortable with it, so I would just channel for people. And there was this one woman that came in, and I see her every few years when I'll go visit my uncle's. She's there all the time. But I channeled for her like apparently in the next 10 years of her life, and I don't remember it. And I got down to like exactly every detail. I remember saying to her that she was going to switch careers. She was going to meet like the love of her life. And she was crying. I remember when I fully came back to, she was hysterical. And I was just like, what did I say? And that was probably one of the most powerful moments for me. But the next time I saw her, it was maybe 2 years later, because I had left to take a more permanent position, which didn't allow me to go work in my uncle's shop when I wanted to anymore. And I remember she was just like, she saw me, she was like, "Oh my God, everything you said has been happening." And she's like,
Wow.
"Everything word for word you said it was happening." I remember just being like, "What did I say?" And she told me, she had wrote it all down. So she showed me like this book, and she was like, yeah, she was pregnant with her first child by, I don't even remember what year, it was like maybe 2011. I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
Like, why did I say that? And I was just like, okay, wow. So now when I see her, she's a thriving businesswoman. I think she's like a millionaire now.
Wow.
She opened 4 different restaurants. She has a catering service here in New York, and she has a couple commercial vehicles too. So
Doing well for herself, and obviously the advice and the information that you provided to her not only moved her and resonated for her, but it's lovely to see that over time it's come to fruition for her.
yeah, I mean, like, and the weirdest thing was like I just don't remember. So I was just like, I said that? Are you sure I
Hmm.
said that? She's like, yeah, you gave me a hug, and I don't really touch people. I'm like, I'm not a hugger. So she was like, yeah, you gave me this huge hug, and I was like, what? You sure it's me? You sure like we didn't have a moment?
So when you're in a situation like that and you feel like you've left your body, and then I'm assuming you're like, for me, your guides come in and they just completely take over. Would that be a fair assessment to make for your
Yeah,
situation there?
yeah, that happened. It doesn't happen anymore because I've learned to control it. But when I first started like really awakening, it was happening all the time. And it was pretty intense because some people were getting cursed out and other people were getting consoled. And it was, oh yeah, no, some people would come into the shop and maybe their energy wasn't correct, and they would try to like, hey, come here, like come talk to
Hmm.
me, and I'd be like,
Hmm.
no. And then like they keep bothering to try to get a message, and then the message they'd get was something really blunt and rude. And my uncle, they would like, oh, why you have her working here, she doesn't know how to talk to people. And they'd be like, well, listen, you kept bothering her and
Yeah.
you got your message.
And this
So
is the thing that you touched very briefly on it. You were younger then, probably not yet familiar with the gift, and really just allowing your guides to step in and be authentic in those readings with people, to give them what they needed to hear in those moments. And off camera, we were talking about this. It can be difficult to receive messages, but the intention is always there to deliver what is needed and what is of their best and highest greatest good to help them move forward. Being that you started your journey at such a young age, and now you've had some time behind you, can you maybe give us the audience some advice on how to channel your energy, harness it, or maybe protect it too, so that you can be in a position to allow your guides to come in and help you, but also protect yourself in your space?
yeah, I mean, the best thing, I don't, for me, for helping my guides get it together with not jumping in all the time, was talking to them and honoring them, and not just them, but your ancestors. That's a big thing, because if they don't feel like they're being heard and you're starting to awaken, they will totally take over, because it's just kind of just one of their things. They're like, oh, you want to play this game? Okay, let's just show you what we can do. So I definitely started honoring them. I was always like a nature person, so I was always out and about, but I started really kind of like grounding down and focusing. I lived by the water at the time, so I would go out by the water, sit there for hours, and just literally clear my mind. And I was really big on picking up a lot of bad and negative energy from people. Like being such a strong empath, like I'll feel people's emo. Like I won't show you that I feel bad for you, but I do. I'll feel what you're feeling. You're telling me what's going on. I'll start getting emotional inside about it. I'm just like, so
Hmm.
then all that sometimes that negative energy can wash onto you. And I learned that the best way is just to always just imagine yourself in a bubble, kind of like the bubble boy. So
Hmm.
I kind of just energetically close off to it. I'll allow myself to feel the emotion, because it's not necessarily a bad thing, but um I don't pick up on negativity anymore. I'm not a sponge. And that's really hard to do. That's not something you learn overnight. You really have to ground yourself and focus all the time and clearing your root chakra. Like really connecting to Mother Earth and really always connecting to your ancestors. And they'll show you different tips and tricks. Like I learned, you know, maybe I do salt baths once in a while, but I'll personally, it's always, I get way more energized and clear just literally sitting outside doing nothing. So
Thank you for the advice, sage advice. I am very appreciative of your time and energy here today. I want to do a little bit of a showcase for you to share with the audience how you work with cards, how you deliver your messages, an opportunity for those who are watching to possibly come forward to you and seek a reading with you. Again, it's bicentennialphoenix on Instagram that you can find Jade. If you wouldn't mind sharing with the audience just a little bit of a short reading on whatever messages that you feel that they need to receive today.
sure, let's use your deck because it's in front of me.
Thank you. This is the first time, friends, I am seeing someone use the deck live in front of me. Again, thank you so much for it is. I appreciate you doing that. I am honored. No, it's my honor that you're doing this. I thank you so much. If anybody's interested in the deck, you can find that on Etsy. And Jade's information bicentennial will be posted here if you'd like to reach out to her and receive a reading. I leave it with you to share with the collective what's going on and what message you can share with them today.
Let's see. I don't know really what I want to ask, so I think just any messages that want to come through. We'll say 3 cards. My cats are like running around and they're staring at me, so it's really funny when they do this, because sometimes they'll jump up and touch a card, and then I'm like, okay.
Magical cats.
They really are. It's really funny. Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus. We got 5 cards. On the bottom of the deck is Awaken.
As we were talking about, as you mentioned.
So that's really funny. The first 2 cards that fell on the floor were Intimate and Universe. This gets even funnier. Then the card I saw was Help, Intuition, and Enough.
Wow.
So these are all extremely powerful cards, and it's really funny because I started getting a message right before all these cards decided to fly out and everywhere. So, I mean, this is just confirmation, I think, of what I've been saying to people, especially with the soul journey, that, you know, it's not always about other people. And I think it's the biggest thing I've been channeling lately is like, you know, traditionalism. I'm not a traditional person in any sense, but doesn't mean I don't respect it. Like ideally, I love the idea of it, but no, not in, I think it's just so over, like, who made up these rules about traditionalism? Anyway, I think it's about accepting, you know, the world and the universe is here to help people, especially with all these things happening this year. I mean, I think this is a better time now, one of the best times to grow and ascend as a person. And, you know, I think a lot of people are starting to step into their power and realize that they are enough. That, you know, and that's why I think we see so many things going on in the world, and allowing yourself to be intimate with yourself. This is not about being intimate with somebody else. Letting the universe take care of you, you know, love you, because you are loved. And, you know, intuition, that's not unheard of. And a lot of my female readers and a lot of the collective that I have that follow me are all really ascending into their awakening and using their intuition really strongly. Like sometimes I'll get messages out of nowhere and I'm just like, wow, that's a really positive message. Like, and I'm like, where'd you get that? They're like, it came to me at work today. And I'm like, keep doing it. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's amazing, you know. And determination, don't give up. Don't give up. Commit to yourself before anybody else, and stay optimistic about your life. I don't know if you can see it, I'm covering it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I feel like this is just reaffirming everything I've been saying for like the last 2 weeks to people, and I think it's great.
It's a wonderful positive message for the collective. I thank you for gifting us this opportunity today to share your gift with everyone and your message of positivity and hope and staying determined, focusing on your journey, focusing on you, knowing you are enough, and embracing this challenging time, because in these times we're learning a lot about self. We're really turning the work on inward motion and bringing it to us so that we can experience better opportunities for ourselves and welcome the universe's gift to us. I
Yeah,
thank
no,
you,
and
Jade.
this isn't something that isn't. I'm not the only one saying. I've noticed this for months with other readers about this year being a catalyst, and I think people just need to stop being afraid and accept it.
Yeah, fear is a big block. You're absolutely right in that. If we allow ourselves to embrace what the universe is actually showing us and gifting us, instead of resisting, we're gonna walk into a much better time, much needed change for many of us, and allowing us the opportunity to really see our own personal power and worthiness. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.
It was an
Bye,
honor to have you.
everyone.
It was an honor to have you here. Friends, again, this has been Jade of Bicentennial Phoenix. You can find her information below, above, depending on what platform we are viewing this today. Thank you for joining us, Jade. Have a wonderful
Thank you.
day.
You
Thank
too.
you. Take care, friends. We'll see you next week here on Rising Sun, Tea and Tarot with Rising Sun Oracle. Take care, friends. See you next week.